Welcome to the Fool's Guild, where we talk about everything video games.
Persona 4? That was
yellow.
That was a thick convo there. Okay, where did we start last time? Dungeoning?
Dungeoning? Yeah, we can start with dungeoning. Tartars, but with different skins, so that made it bearable.
Different skins. You had an 8-bit skin. You had a secret lab skin.
You had a strip club and a bathhouse skin.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You can't have a Persona game without a bathhouse scene.
Yeah, if you played Golden, you had the textile spin. Basically like Izanami's, but a little bit foggier, basically, than Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Heaven? Yeah, Heaven. I liked Heaven a lot.
Heaven was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Because you got to go save the best girl in the whole game. Your little sister.
Best girl, little sis. Yeah, it was basically Tartars, but it was just like 8 to 11 floors. It was like a lot more condensed. Then there was just like bigger floors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have to walk around a lot more treasure, more shadows.
Yeah.
And then you can actually control your damn characters now.
Yes,
What a relief.
you couldn't just give them suggestions like, hey, Mitsuru, you have a lot of healing skills. Could you try to heal people? She's like, I'll think about it.
It's like, hey Mitsuru, I want you to go all out attack now. Mary Carey.
Mary Karen. 8 misses again, 3 times in a row. Yeah.
And then they added like perks to your party members where like you could do a follow-up attack and then Chie could just launch a character off screen forever.
She's like, does the little leg warm things like, oh, I like big chow. Yeah, it's
Hey, leader.
Should I go in?
Kick him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. But yeah, we can talk about the characters.
Okay. Let's just start with your first party member, Yosuke. I liked Yosuke. I feel like because this started where you could actually hang out with your guy party members, which is what I was harping on him.
That's another great aspect of Persona.
Yeah, like I wanted to hang out with Junpei to figure out why he hated me so much. Other than the fact that other than me having a bunch of personas, I wanted to know like what's your problem with somebody who's in charge when you're not in charge, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yosuke's whole story was I had to move out to the sticks, leave my friends behind. My dad is the manager of Walmart, basically. Everybody hates me. Even the girl I like hates me. She barely talks to me.
And then all of her friends just use me for like vacation hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Sipping ain't easy.
Hey, he's a Sigma male.
He's a Sigma. He's not much of a lone wolf when he's like partner.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, partner, wink.
He's a ligma male. Alright, that's enough of that. Okay.
Yeah, he's a true Sigma male.
But I like the conclusion.
Him and Kanji.
Yeah. I like the conclusion to his social link a lot, where it ends with the two of you getting into a fist fight. Because even though he was whole gung ho about like the partner leader thing, he's like, I need to get out this frustration about you being the coolest guy in the universe and me being your second banana, basically. And I'm like, yes, bring it on, Yosuke, let's do this. And it was a good conclusion.
Just like every anime rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, but I like Yosuke. I think he's definitely one of my favorite characters in the franchise.
Yes.
And he's probably my favorite Persona 4 character. Yeah, so like Margaret's probably my favorite Persona 3 character. And Yosuke's. Because he's funny. What?
Margaret? You mean Elizabeth?
Oh yeah, Elizabeth. Margaret sucks.
Yeah.
Chie.
I can understand why people like the tomboy aspect so much. She was a good character.
She looks like a guy.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't get past that. I'm like, you look too much like you could be a guy here.
No, she's cute.
Yeah.
But she does like steak and
Kung Fu movies.
Yeah, I feel like she's definitely like Futaba before Futaba.
Yeah.
And like a lot of guys are like, I like Kung Fu movies and steak.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like that. Oh, look, she also had a thing where she was coming to terms with her femininity. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was also a good portion of her social link.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the way that people swear by her is something that I couldn't get behind, though. Yeah. I'm like, she's a good party member.
A little weird.
Not that good, though.
She's in high school, so...
Calm down there, fellas. Yeah. Yeah.
I did like her social link. Yukiko's
okay. Her whole thing was
Oh,
coming.
we forgot to talk about like Chie's awakening.
Oh yeah, Chie's awakening. I liked her how she became Darth Maul with her persona. Basically, that was cool. Yeah, and how her awakening revolved around her being like, I'm okay with being more feminine. I don't have to act like a guy all the time. I forget what her deal was. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do too, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just remember that.
it definitely had to do with like Yukiko though.
Yeah, I remember like a group of guys like were messing with her, and you were like your character, you, Narukami, whatever you will call Narukami. Yeah, Narukami is like you leave Chi alone, and she just like it becomes putty in your hand after that. Like, oh my god, he saved me from a bunch of guys. I'm like, okay.
No, that's not what happened though.
That
She
is
was
what
like, I
happened?
don't need you to save me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I completely like Chi's social link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just like she used to be king of the hill or whatever, and now she's just king of the swill.
It's
No, but yeah, I didn't. It's not really rememberable. So
yeah, not very real social
we
link.
can go to Yukiko because she didn't have a palace either. So it's like
Yeah, she was a
I
part.
feel like Yosuke had a like more of a palace than her.
Yeah, he only had like one floor, but she just fought his boss there and he got his thing. That's something else I would also like to talk about, how you don't get your party members until you beat their entire dungeon. I did not like that. In Persona 5, they really fixed that, but we can get onto that later.
Yeah, but I definitely feel like that was like intended.
Mm-hmm.
Yukiko.
Yeah, she's okay.
For the fourth time.
Yeah, for the fourth time. Yeah, she's okay. Her social link was like, I'm okay with staying in a small town. I'm like, you do you, girl. That's how I felt like the whole social link was. Like, hey, just do your thing.
It's like, I'm tired of people telling me what I can and can't do. And then later she's like, I'm going to do what these people are telling me to do, but for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
Really cool. I'm like, yeah. I feel like,
It's like, can I cook you some food?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, another
It's
priestess,
awful.
thank you.
It's awful. Yeah, I'm dying every time. You can't even make eggs right. You're killing me. You
That
oversalted
was
them.
so funny.
Just put
It's
a
like, they
little bit of
actually
salt in
don't
it.
taste like anything.
Yeah,
I was like,
they put so much in there that they don't taste like anything. I'm like, that is an actual talent right there. I'm imagining she's like dumping all of Dojima's spice cabinet into the little bowl of eggs that she's using to whisk them to make the omelets.
Yeah, her palace was just kind of like a castle.
Yeah. And
That was best Yukiko, Princess Yukiko.
And her, dude, the shadow videos, you remember those on the Midnight Channel?
Yeah.
Was so
The cutscene?
weird. The cutscenes were so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Like we talk about I can't wait till we get to Risei, but Yukiko was like, I'm wearing my lacy unmentionables right now. And I'm like,
Like, yeah, you just
like,
mentioned them things.
like, what is going on here? It gets worse in the anime too because Yu actually tries to record the videos and he can't. It's so hilarious.
I remember that was also a thing, and like Yosuke calls you right after, and then you can like talk about it with
He's
your
like,
boy.
He's like, dude, did you see Risei? And then he starts blushing a little bit. He's like, dude, that swimsuit. I'm like, we gotta go save her, buddy.
So we gotta save Yosuke first, though. Like, I mean, it's drowning.
Yeah. But I also like how all the shadow bosses of your party members are symbolic. Yukiko's was a bird in a cage that just kept popping its head out occasionally, but would lock itself back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became like a 12-syllable word every time she had to summon it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yosuke's was like a frog,
Yeah.
and Chie's was like some person with a blade.
Yeah, she had like basically her persona, except instead of like the biker helmet, had like a banana face, and it was like sitting on top of. It goes back to the King of the Hill thing that you're talking about with her social link, where she's sitting. She's sitting on a bunch of top of kids basically. Yeah.
Do you remember any of their names?
The friends that she had?
No, like any of the personas. I remember Jiraiya.
I remember kanjis. It was Take Mikezuchi. I like that one.
Dang.
Yeah. Because he would say it in such a bombastic way, and he had a freaking folding chair. He's like, Take Mikezuchi, and just slammed it into his
I
car.
remember one of them was like a washing machine cover. I'm like, what even is that?
Yeah.
Next is Kanji.
Kanji. I like Kanji a lot.
I love Kanji.
Yeah,
Kanji's one of my favorite characters.
He's such a huge dork about everything that she does, and his Gosh, when Persona got mainstream, when 5 came out and everybody went back and played 4, like the whole thing with Kanji's social link and just his character in general was like coming to terms with his sexuality, basically. They're like, Kanji.
They're not really.
Yeah, okay. Well, in certain portions, like it. Sure, okay.
He's Naoto sexual.
Yeah. My whole thing is that. Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, not good. No, come on, get it back. People would be like, "Oh my gosh, Kanji, like it's okay if you like you're gay, Kanji." And I'm like, the whole thing with Kanji is like he's supposed to, with everybody in the game, basically, like they're supposed to come to their own conclusions, and I didn't like how people were like essentially forcing things on them. Yeah.
Because he's just sewing. Like it's not like he's like actually gay or straight or anything. It's just that he's like, I like to sew, and sewing isn't manly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like the whole like point of him being flamboyant and probably gay in the Midnight Shadow.
Yeah.
Is because that's how people perceived him.
Yeah.
So I think that's funny that like people on the internet are doing that same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and again, he's like, it doesn't matter about guys or girls. It's like, I just want to feel accepted in this small town where everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
And imagine being like the one outcast, basically, where you're supposed to be like a tight knit community. Like that's my boy right there. Leave him alone. Yeah. Teddy, it was okay.
Yeah, I thought Teddy was fine.
Yeah,
I didn't think he would suck. I didn't think he was great.
Yeah, he was your free social link.
He was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the.
It's kind of a bitch to fight though.
Oh, his boss fight directly after Rise.
Yeah, I was like,
that's not cool. What you're doing right now, not cool at all.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like, oh hey, I'm helping you guys out now with Rise. Like I can check what he's weak to. I'm like, that doesn't help that I have no health and no SP left. Rise, thanks a lot. But yeah.
And then Rise.
She was funny. Especially like going back to the thing with Yosuke immediately calling you after her thing went down. She's like, oh, I'm gonna do the striptease. And I'm like, okay. For Sony, you're going too far again.
Yeah, they were really sending it with her.
Yeah. I know that was the whole point, but it's still super
There's a bunch of idol stands.
Yeah.
I like that was one of the only personas where I was like, this wasn't like the Shadow at all, because it was like the Shadow was a stripper. It was like a really weird multicolored thing.
Yeah.
And then her persona was like a satellite dish, and I was like, okay, this isn't like the same thing.
It was a satellite dish, and it had like Greek like drapery over it. Basically, it was like covering up the multicolored scales or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Whatever. Now we have Naoto.
Naoto stand, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I love Naoto. I love Naoto. She was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Naoto was fine. I played P5 first, so it was just like,
okay, yeah, that's fair.
I was like, this is just like a catchy 0.5.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
But
yeah, that's why I
she's very smart.
Yeah, when we can talk about catchy, I'm gonna drone on a little bit.
Just don't make it like a 30-minute rant.
I'll try.
Union Key.
We're never talking about Union Key ever again.
Good, because I deleted that video.
Good.
Okay, we can go on to the social links. They weren't bad.
They massive improvement. I even like the one social link with the single mom or whatever, or like her husband died. Yeah, the temperance social link, that one was very good. The devil social link was a little bit better this time around. I still didn't like it, but it was better.
The next one was pretty good.
Yes, it was very good.
Okay, easy there.
Easy there. Great, fantastic. I
There,
love that devil social link. But the moon social link was very good. I liked I. She was cool. Even though
I didn't like I.
Oh, okay. I like is a very strong word. I was talking off a couple of that one.
She grew on you after she was like, yeah, I used to be fat and ugly, and then I basically just like got plastic surgery.
Yeah, she became Queen Bee basically.
Yeah. Queen I. Yukiko.
We
talked about that.
Yeah.
Margaret doesn't really have one.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not gonna do what my sister did with the last guy because that killed him, so you can have a kiss instead. But you know who we can really talk about though? Nanako and Dojima.
Yeah, that was next. Ryotaro and Nanako.
Absolute S tier social links right there.
Those are quality.
Yes. Absolutely love them. Just every day is great with your Junes. I'm like, oh.
I was like, can I just like die now? Like I'm happy for once.
Like every time you would come home, she's like, "Welcome home, big bro." I'm like, "Oh,
Come
I'm
home.
not."
I would literally like I would walk over to her every time I would come home, and I would just like give her an in-game kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, hi, little sis, I'm home.
I would just exhaust her dialogue, like to see if there's anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, "You doing all right today?" Like, I know.
You check the weather. I'm like, oh, I check the weather every night. Don't worry.
Like Dojima's not home for like the millionth time
Yeah,
this
it's like,
month.
You want a cookie? I got a cookie.
I got cookies. I picked up stuff at the store for you. I'm like, "Are you all right?"
How about we go to Junes?
She's just so sad. The poor little girl. Like, her mom's dead. Her dad throws himself into his work because he doesn't want to think about his dead wife. She's at home.
And he doesn't know how to deal with her.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
She's technically another outcast. She has to go home by herself for hours. It's so sad. And then when you start hanging out with Dojima, you help him. It's like, "Hey, how do you interact with Nanako?" I'm like, "It's very simple. I talk to her."
Talk to her and then I listen to her.
Yes, very simple.
Those two things.
He's like, and you go and drink coffee together. And at the end of his social link, he's like, "I'll be your dad," basically.
He's like, here's a family mug and it just says like world's best mom on it.
He's like, "I'm gonna take your actual dad's place. We'll be your actual family from now on." At the end of their social link, I'm like, "Okay, I'm okay with this." You don't know Narukami's actually parents, so yeah, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were very good.
Rize, we didn't really talk about her social link. It's basically just like, I'm not the idol, but then there was like another idol who was getting more popular than her on TikTok, and then she's like,
"I can't have that."
It's like, I need to go back, and it's just like,
yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna keep hanging."
He's like, I'm actually her uncle, or
yeah, like a manager came into town and was like, "You doing all right, Rize?" And like you said, it was like her uncle or something. He was like, "Hey, if you want to come back, you can. You don't have to, but I will like it if you did. So please do it." Yeah.
Does she eventually go back, or?
In the fighting games, I think she does what Yu does, and they both come back during. I know that she stays in. She says she's going to stay until she graduates, and then she's going to go back to being an idol because in Persona 5, which is, I know they do like the whole 20XX thing to make it so like you can't tell what time period it is, but it's definitely after Persona because they talk about they talk about the second Detective Prince Akechi, and there's also, you can get a poster of Rise after she came back, like Rise, Kawakami, and like concert, yada blah blah blah.
Kujigawa.
Yeah, Kujigawa. My bad. I forgot the last name.
Get the name right.
No,
I'm just kidding. No, but there, also in Persona Q, there's like a scene where it's like, oh, you're Rise, but you look younger than like the Rise like from our time, who's like a pop star.
Yes.
It's like, are you Rise before? It's like, no, I'm Rise after I was a pop star, and it's just like there's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Fox. There's really they can talk.
The Fox had babies there.
Yeah, I mean, cool. Oh, there's like, did we talk about Naoto's social link?
We didn't really talk about Naoto's social link. Naoto's social link was fun.
It was fine.
You were doing detective stuff the whole time, and it was very different from everybody else's.
Yeah.
When it was basically her grandpa was trolling you the entire time. He was like, "Hey Naoto, you remember this dorky little toy that you made when you were like 7?" And he said, apparently for what we learned, like Naoto's family is so rich that they have secret agents to protect them, basically. And I'm like, this is so crazy.
He's a Shirogane.
Yeah, like super duper trust fund kid, basically.
We have Ko and Daisuke.
Oh, the strength social link.
Yep.
I liked Ko's a lot more because his whole thing was, I'm adopted, and you were helping him through that.
Yeah.
And then I forget Daisuke's because I never did it.
Daisuke was basically like, I don't like girls because I had a really bad breakup in middle school, and then it was just like coming to terms with like that girlfriend. And then he's like, yeah, okay.
Okay, so we've got a bad case of one-itis.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's still hopeful.
Yeah.
Naoki.
Oh, that was what's her face's Yosuke's girlfriend.
Yosuke's
girlfriend's little brother.
Little brother.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm sad because my sister's dead," and I'm like, "Dude, that fucking sucks." Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't want you to pity me." It's like, "Go ahead, pity me."
It's like, good, I don't pity you because I really didn't care about your sister. I cared about Yosuke. didn't care about your sister, no.
Yeah, and then at the end, he's like, I can finally grieve about my sister now that I'm with somebody who, like, I'm like, dude.
I feel like this is one of those instances where he's like trying to hug you, and I'm like you're not even like not even like the hearty pat on the back. It's like you're trying to get away from him a little bit.
It's like a little head tabs, like, okay, here we go.
Cool. I gotta get away from you. Never talk to me again.
Get off. Death, Hisano.
I liked Hisano. Hers was very good.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
I really like the sad ones. That was probably my favorite social link.
Mm-hmm. Like just going and talking, like, oh man, I get to go talk to the old lady again on Sunday about her being sad all the time. And I was like, I put down my PlayStation 2 controller, like occasionally just tapping it, like just listening to her talk. And it's like, oh yeah, my grandchildren, my husband. Yeah, I wear this every single Sunday to like in remembrance of my husband. I'm like, yeah, like, just tell me your whole story, you old bat. I love it. It was a very good social link.
And then there was like at the end where she's like, I want you to find the letters I was sending to my husband, and then like you give them to her, and she's like, finally I have them, and then she's like, I'm gonna go burn them so I never have to like remember the times that I was in love with him. I'm like, dang girl.
Yeah, like again, it says kind of moving forward, like a little lingering link from Persona 3 basically is how I feel about that one.
Eri, the temperance woman. Mom.
My son hates me.
My stepson hates me.
Oh yeah, her husband wasn't dead. She recently got remarried. Wasn't that it?
She got remarried, no, that wasn't her son. I think that was her stepson.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she just married into like this rich dude who's off working.
Yeah, and she's in the town by herself with this new son.
Yeah,
and she doesn't know how to interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like it could be like the beginning. Persona 4 is kind of like a slice of life anime. If you take out like all the stuff with shadows and really think about it, that's a very slice of life episode to deal with.
Yeah. Sayako, the devil.
I do it. She's like,
it's a lot like Kawakami.
Yeah.
It's like there's a guy who died, and it's like I have to keep living for this guy. But it's like
I didn't like it as much though. Yeah.
What did you like about it?
It's kind of boring. I think
when she pinned you up against the wall.
I didn't like that part. No. I didn't like that part. No. I think it was because it was my first playthrough of Persona 4, and I didn't understand how social links work because I was too focused on the gameplay, which was only supposed to be a small portion of it, technically. And I kept going to try to level up her social link. And I hung out with her like 2 or 3 times, and it was like, you feel like your relationship will get closer. You feel like your relationship will get closer. I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this social link anymore.
Yeah. She's basically just a workaholic. Shu, the tower.
I liked how at the end of the social link, your friends showed up and gave him a good happy birthday or something. But other than that, it's like, you're just tutoring this kid who doesn't really like you, but his mom keeps paying you because you do have good results. So I'm happy to take her money. Yeah.
It's like, I'm the best in class. And it's like, wait, I'm not the best in class anymore. My parents don't love me. I think we talked about though.
Yes.
Yumi and Ayane.
Oh, you ever watched Code Lyoko before?
No, I hate that show.
Dang it! Oh, that's.
You think?
I was just gonna say like
Yumi looks
just like Yumi. She's like that gigantic freaking forehead, dude. And as a complete tangent, Code Lyoko is not good, but it's nostalgic. So I'm just gonna stop that right there. But yeah, they were okay. I liked how if Yumi, you like again, you were going to. I just think I didn't like the hospital in that game, actually.
I think it was because the Yumi story was a lot like a P3 social link where it was just like, okay, I'm to cry on, but that's it. Mm-hmm. And then it was just like, my dad's dying, and I don't like him, but now I have to love him.
Yeah.
And it's like, she's a drama student because it's like, I get to be somebody else. I get to escape into a character.
Yeah.
Dang. Is that what happens to all drama people?
Yeah, you never did any plays in that game either. I was very disappointed in Join the Drama Club.
I feel like every anime or any anime drama club just never does a show, really.
Yeah.
It's just like the thought of doing a show is really like,
I'm like,
enticing.
why are we in the drama club? No, if we're not doing
Just
anything.
reciting random lines.
We're just standing around. We're just standing around and LARPing all day, basically.
With a bunch of props just hanging around.
Yeah,
like,
when
do we ever use these props?
Just call us the D&D club, basically. We probably get more done.
Did you do Ione?
I never did Ione.
I literally, like, when I chose the music club, I'm like, oh, a music club. And then I saw, like, there's this, like, 12-year-old girl. I'm like, wow, am I really going to, like, do a romance arc with this girl?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, if you choose the drama club, there's actually, like, a hot girl. I was like, oh, you know what? We're
redoing that one, yeah. I think I
the drama club. I was an actor in high school at some point, right?
Yeah.
So.
I think I remember I did this similar thing. I'm thinking music club because for some reason, when I got Persona, I was like doing band. I was like, I get to play a trumpet. Yeah.
I love band.
There's a 12-year-old in here, and she has like rosy cheeks and everything. I'm like, you look like my little sister. I'm leaving.
You are as tall as my hip, so I'm gonna go to the drama club. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but her whole thing was like, she wasn't really good at the trumpet, but then the lead trumpet player like had to bow out or something, and then she had to take the solo, or like she volunteered to do the solo, and so she was working up all this courage and practicing, and she was getting really good at it. But then, at the end of the social link, it's like the guy comes back, he's like, "I'm back, I'm ready to play it," and then everyone's like, "But she prepared," and then she's just like, "You know what? You can take the solo," and that was the whole thing. So I was like, you know what? Drama club wasn't so bad.
In hindsight, drama club.
Girlfriend's dying father, you know, not a bad alternative.
Yeah, I think in the anime too, when you're doing, because they choose Kane over Yumi. There's a little scene where Narukami and her are like sitting by the riverbank or whatever, and she's playing, and he's like, "Dude, you suck." she just looks at him so dejected, but then he does like the whole thing, like, "I know you suck, but you can get better." And then she like hugs him or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. And then like Nanako shows up like right afterwards.
Oh
yeah, funny little thing.
I don't know. You didn't play P4G, did you?
I looked at cutscenes.
You know of.
So I know what happened. Yeah,
and Adachi.
Yeah, Adachi. I liked Adachi. But let's talk about Marie before we get to the meat and bones of Adachi. Marie was okay. I feel like she didn't need to be there. Her poetry was interesting.
Yeah.
And her.
It's just like edgy teenage girl.
Yeah, and then I liked how when she disappeared, she gave you an extra dungeon because you got a whole bunch of extra cutscenes with like your party members. Like say if you're like dating Rise, you get a little extra scene with her, Naoto, Chie, Yukiko, or with the guys basically. Like that's a cool little thing. Yeah. And then Adachi, I liked how they fleshed out Adachi because when you're trying to figure out who the killer is at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking to yourself, you get everybody who's important in town. You get all your social links and everything. And the only person who makes sense is like, you go like, you're getting down the list and it's like Dojima, Adachi, and Nanako. And I'm thinking to myself, like, there's no way that's like, even if it was, that's not gonna happen. It's not Dojima.
It's not Dojima.
He's in the hospital. He could like actually using a little bit of detective knowledge while Naoto's like sitting next to you, is like bewildered the whole time. Like he couldn't be there because when this person died, he was drinking coffee with me. It's literally impossible. So that only leaves Adachi. It could have been a little bit more interesting, but I guess it would have been super hard too.
Oh yeah, I think they did it right. I honestly was not really expecting Adachi at the end.
Yeah.
Just because he's like a dork.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like in P4G they kind of lead on to it a little bit. Yeah. Just because he's kind of like, you give him that, like, oh, I'm this guy who's really not supposed to be here. Hate my life.
Yeah. Because his whole
interesting in this town.
Yeah, his whole story arc was he was a super talented detective back in the city, except he made one mistake that we never really know about, and then they just like, Adachi, get out of here, go to Styx. So I'm like, yeah, that does feel like you got a bum hand here.
Yeah. Was that the same with you? I don't even remember Yu's backstory.
His backstory was his parents went on an extended business trip overseas for a whole year. So nobody's wherever he's from, nobody's in the house right now. They're all just gone. So somebody could have broken in there and stolen their stuff. But aside from that, his parents think that it's a good idea to leave their child in a big city by himself for a whole year. But instead of thinking, my brother, let's send him out to
send him out to Dojima.
Yeah.
The Ryotaro.
And he's like, I've seen you in diapers before. It's all right, bro. But their backstories are sort of kind of similar, except they were both forced to go somewhere, but you made the most of it because he's main character Kun and
Because he makes
Adachi.
friends.
Yeah, and Adachi's like, I go home and drink beer by myself. I'm like, bro, that is super sad.
And eat cabbages. That's my whole diet: beer and cabbage.
Yeah.
The story.
Reach out for the truth of my life, seeking to seize on the soul moment to now break away. Yeah, the whole reach out for the truth thing was very cool because, again, I feel like they're really getting into their pace on this one because when they get to Persona 5, they freaking nail it.
Yeah.
About how the theme of the game is reflected in the music, reflected in the characters, reflected in the story, about how nobody is really themselves anymore. They're just putting on fronts for everybody, basically. Like with Yukiko, she's putting on a front like, oh yeah, I definitely want to stay home. But at the end of the social link, she's like, I do want to stay home, but for me, everybody's accepting themselves and reaching out for the you, basically. Yada, yada, yada.
They're accepting the truth about themselves.
Yeah, the whole Jungian thing about facing their shadows and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's done very well.
And you don't think they did that in Persona 3 with like time?
I think that they did it better here. Not to say that Persona 3 was bad, but I feel like they really, with the social links, is why I feel like they did it better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not that, no. Like for the story of Persona 3, they nailed it. If you take out all the social links and only leave in like the cutscenes, wandering around, and like very select social links, like I say at least 20% of them.
Okay.
Yeah, like, with your son's social link, that one did it
spot
on, basically. But in Persona 4, I feel like more of the social links in the game were
revolving around that theme.
Yes, and they really nailed it. They didn't, I didn't feel like reused assets like in Persona 3, like with Ken and the star athlete guy. Those are two basically the exact same thing as far as I'm concerned. Even though one of them was like, I'm not as good as this other guy, like I need to help out my mom, I still feel like, I'm just hanging out with this athlete guy right now. But in Persona 4, there's Kanji, and then there's Shun, and then there's Yosuke. It's like all of them felt like unique storylines that revolved around the theme. And I didn't feel bored because it didn't feel like I had seen the storyline before.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, it's just like, I feel like there's a lot more room for just like the humor. Like, I definitely feel like another big part of this game was just like the yellow, which is supposed to represent like being bright and energetic and joyful.
Yes.
Which I feel like there's a lot more like room for that to take place in the story and the characters and all that. Which is also what probably made it more enjoyable.
Yes.
And Persona 3 is obviously not. It's supposed to be depressing.
I still like the depressing aspect, but yeah. Again,
But it's probably not just gonna. It's probably just not gonna be like more fun.
Yes.
Because also that's reflected in the gameplay where it's like, okay, like my team is helping me out now, and it's like I can like play as them, and like it's not just complete bullshit.
Yeah. In Persona 3, it feels like you're fighting together, but you're still alone.
Yeah, you're still separate from everyone.
Yeah.
Isolated. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much got everything because like all the characters are kind of the story, except for Adachi, Amino Sagiri,
the one outlier. Just to go back to the figuring out it was a Adachi thing, I know this would have been really difficult, but I feel like it could have been a little bit more interesting if they had hinted. It probably would have thrown everything out of the loop, but just on a hypothetical, basically, if it felt like somebody else really could have been the murderer.
I think they tried to do that with like a red herring, like Namatame or whatever the guy is. Yeah, I think
Namatame was just an idiot listening to some random guy at the police station. That's what I'm saying,
though. It's like, oh, it was this guy who was like behind the scenes at every, but it's just like it didn't really resonate with me.
Yeah, every time somebody tries to call down to the police station to get something done. It's a
Dachi
dachi on the
on the
other
phone.
line. He's just chilling out drinking coffee.
Oh, hey.
He's like, hey, what's up, man? He's
I
like,
can reach you in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
yeah, Naotame-san, you should totally save them with just like
See
the most
guy with the knife, yeah.
the most just devious smile on his face, like he's just getting the biggest kick out of this. He's just like laughing on the other end. He's like Joker's type stuff.
I'll see you in the TV.
Yeah.
Did you know what Amno Sagiri?
Represented?
Yeah.
The fog? Other than that, no.
Okay. For Izanami.
Izanami, the one who invites. No, that was Izanagi. I forgot what hers is.
So yeah, Amno Sagiri is like the fog, and then Izanami was like the person who created the fog, or if the fog is an aspect of her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like the gas station attendant who basically like created the Midnight Channel.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the game, when I saw that character had a portrait, I'm like, you can't pull. I was thinking like, about them the entire playthrough.
When is this gonna like be important?
Yeah, like when are you gonna come back? And my character gets his powers after like shaking your hand. I'm like, when are you gonna show up again? I've been thinking about you this entire year. And then after the epilogue, when Adachi is, hey, I think that there's somebody else behind this, definitely. You should try to figure it out before you leave town. I'm sprinting towards the gas station like I know it's you. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but it was like they created the Midnight Channel in order to look into like a person's psyche, basically. Mm-hmm. So like all the Jungian stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like because humans are so like anxious and they're so they like to put up a front that is somebody different than who they actually are.
Yes.
Then it's like this fog happened and then like it got corrupted.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I always think the final bosses are a little much. I actually like Persona 3's like final boss. It made more sense than like the other two bosses.
Yeah, but I think I liked Nyx more because Nyx was a very constant present through Ryoji and Pharaohs.
Yeah, it was definitely much more. It wasn't just I think there's like a final boss after me, wink, wink.
Yeah.
It was actually like, okay, we're gonna usher in the final coming of Nyx, and then there's like a cult, and then there's like
everything felt like
leading up to it.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a whole build-up type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as opposed to like wait, what's actually going on? Who's pulling the strings?
Like they're pulling up their pants or like coming through. They're like, wait, before the game ends, I'm here too. Yeah.
No, they're definitely. It felt like there was a lot of different. Like, okay, we ended it here, but oh wait, there's another ending. Yeah. Oh wait, that wasn't the guy.
Yeah, this isn't the true ending. Yeah.
But then there's not a guy. This is actually Goddess, who represents like humans' desire for the truth or whatever.
I'm gonna obscure the truth. Yeah. And then they go. I feel like the Persona games handle a lot of social issues in a way that doesn't feel ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Like
it's much more like theme-based than like on the nose, like, we're gonna tackle feminism in this game.
Yeah.
It's more of like we're gonna tackle like
just depression in this game.
Something
like
universal.
I feel like all the Persona games are a very good aspect of their time, but also have like a good connection to current events. Like in Persona 3 happens in 2007, 2008, I believe. Yeah. And during that time was like the whole quote unquote emo movement and things like that. But I feel like depression is still, obviously for teenagers, when like I'm assuming we both play these games, it's like very prevalent for us as individuals. Like I can understand that. Also trying to help them move past it. The Persona 4 is showing the light aspects of being a teenager. It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom. Like if you just have a couple of good friends, you can definitely make it through that. And then we can talk about the whole aspect of PFOD when we get there.
Yeah, but I definitely feel like there is something that definitely dates each of these games. Like in P3, there's Maya, and she would just talk in like internet speak, but from like I had to look up like what was it? It was like ONZ or something, and it just basically means like somebody's like laying down on the ground. I'm like, oh okay.
Oh yeah, all those like old internet chat group things.
Like,
yeah,
emoticons and all that. I'm like, okay. Squiggle star. Like I had my boss explain what squiggle star is. I'm like, we still haven't explained it that well, but but yeah, there's definitely a timeless theme like that kind of ties everything together. The music,
Now I face out, I hold out. What was the other one? Time to make history. That was Persona 4 Golden's theme. And then I feel like Persona 4's intro was probably the weakest of all the intros.
I hate you.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you.
You did. Oh,
It's probably my
it's
favorite
your
opening.
favorite one. Oh,
It's my favorite one.
I liked for Persona 4. I like how they did the. And they're like doing the pictures of everybody as they're like, oh, and that also felt, it had a very good like feeling to it. It felt super creepy about how everybody was all the main characters were being watched essentially the whole time, and it goes into the whole people just want to see what they see on TV basically aspect.
Yeah.
But other than I didn't like the song.
I love the song. I love the opening.
That's the part that held it down.
Really.
And then Persona 4 Golden's, it was okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of
it. It was just special reminder to get your way through the shadow world. I'm like, this is like the original was way better in that aspect.
I'm like, Shihoko, you've done better.
Yeah.
There's all the songs that I'm just looking at.
I loved Heaven though, like for when you were trying to get to Nanako at the top. It's like do. There's like this very slow beats. Like I forget the lyrics of the song. It's like there's a very slow, melancholic like choir singing in the background. Like,
Yeah.
I've been missing you. And like I was thinking
I
was thinking about like Nanako, thinking about her mom the whole time. I'm like, don't worry, Nanako, Big Brother's coming. I'm gonna save you.
There's that song, Your Affection. That's probably one of my favorite songs.
Like when you're just running around town, right? Yeah.
It's like I would like every time I hear that song, I like put everything down and then like pick up my bass and like do 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 do.
Yeah, like your affection, your affection, your affection. Yeah, that's a very good song. Like the songs, Persona, it was a good song.
Even like there's that song Like a Dream Come True, which is like the trumpet song. It's like
oh, that's when you had to hang out at GNS, right?
Or just like at like when your friends are like talking to you between classes.
Yeah,
like, even this song is a slap. Like I just every song in that game is just amazing. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, Persona 3. I feel like Persona 3 has like the highest ceiling because it has like Iwatadai Dorm and it has like When Moon's Reaching Out Stars, but then like the P4 just has like a layer of bangers.
Yeah.
Even the victory screen results.
And you see he's just like holding his card up and it's like experience blah 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 blah. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, Persona 4's music was a lot more peppy. Like even with the rap in Persona 3, when you win the Iwatadai Dorm, it is, I imagine, because everybody's just like sitting down like in the living room basically, like reading magazines or playing video games. I wish you could make your characters like sit down and just like hang out with everybody, like having a group conversation. Because in my head, I was like thinking to myself, like everybody's just like chilling out, like watching TV together. It feels like one of the few times where your group of coworkers, because that's basically what C's is until the end of the game where they actually do become friends, they just feel more like coworkers.
Yeah. I would say that the vibe that it gives off is like everyone's a classmate. They're all like, because they are, but it's like they're all like a part of a group project. And it's not like, oh, I like you, I want to be with you, but it's like I have to be with you.
It's like Yukari really doesn't like Junpei. She doesn't really like Mitsuru. She's kind of okay with Futaba. Fuka. Yeah, she's a little like, he's a cool guy. She slowly warms up to your main character. She doesn't want to hang out with the little kid.
She hates dogs.
She hates dogs. Ken's like, I don't like anybody here because they're all older than me. Junpei's like, man, I really want to see Yucatan and Mitsuru naked. And I guess Akihiko's cool too. And then your main character's like, guys, can we do the project? Well, everybody's like on their phones or something.
Yeah, and Agnes is like, I'll help you do the project, but she doesn't know anything about being human.
Yeah.
So.
She's like, I guess
she needs her own help.
She's like, I guess this is too perfect. They're gonna think we cheated. Yeah. All right. Anything else for Persona 4? We could talk about the extra events. You remember like the Valentine's Day stuff? Oh, this is where they started actually punishing you.
Is it in P4G?
In P4G, yeah. This is where they actually started punishing you for dating multiple girls at the same time.
Yeah.
Because during the Valentine's Day event, if you're dating multiple girls, you can even during Christmas too, you can only accept one of their invitations. They all give you their Valentine's Day chocolate, and then actually
you can't hang out with
yeah. And the funny thing is, they actually worked really hard, so it's good this time. And they're all like, I guess you're doing something more important today. Like, are you seeing anybody? And you're like, no. And then you go and hang out with the one that you chose for the episode.
If you're gonna date like 6 girls, you need to have the schedule.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like schedule about like each hour. Like, hey,
it's
I'll
like
be
how
at
are
the
you
beach.
spending the whole day with one person?
Yeah. Like, hey, I'll
You're
be
in high school, dog.
Yeah, like I'll be at this location at this time. Meet me there. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, Chi. I got to go to the mall in this next city over. Like, okay, bye. See you. But yeah.
I thought the Persona designs in 4. I don't know, because I do like a lot of Persona 3 Persona designs.
Yeah.
But honestly, the 4 ones, just as a whole, they're okay. I thought Uzumaki's cool.
I thought Uzumaki was cool. I feel like, again, because I actually remember Kanji's Persona name, I feel like I liked his the best, even though it was basically just like a golem with like a skull on it. Then Dry was cool.
Dry was cool too.
I like Susanoo, but I didn't like its 3rd evolution in Golden, where it just basically got a big afro. I feel like they could have done something a little bit better there. I like the way that Naoto's looked after it got its 3rd evolution, because in its 2nd evolution, it got like its Power Ranger helmet essentially. And then its 3rd evolution, it got like the white collar and coat and everything. I feel like it actually evolved.
Uh-huh.
And then Yukiko's was pretty good too, because it became like kind of like an avatar basically, where it was like purely white, but it still had the whole like wing aesthetic on it. So that was pretty cool. Teddy's was dumb. It was Rocket. I didn't like it that much. Am I forgetting anybody?
I liked Ken's design.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Akihiko's Persona.
I like Koromaru's because it was basically Cerberus.
Yeah, that was kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Fuka's.
Yeah. It's a little globe thing, kind of like, maybe imagine like a scouter, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked Orpheus too.
Orpheus was cool. I like when it became Orpheus Telos and the Messiah, even though Messiah is awful because of how many weaknesses it has. It's weak to Nyx.
Cool.
Yeah, but it looks very cool.
It is weak to Nyx, which is the only fight you need it for, or have it for. Yeah, we can go on a P5.
Okay. Oh, before we go to P5, I like Mitsuru's too. I liked her whole, its chain whip thing. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can have a P5.